Welcome back to Positive Talk Radio. Our goal is simple: to explore evolving ideas one conversation at a time. So come on over into our world. I know you'll like it, because on today's show, we feature a couple of dynamic individuals, and I'm so glad that you guys are all here today. Jen Gilbreth, she is the modern sage, or one of the modern sages, and she's a psychic medium, and she's traveling around in her car today. Thank gosh we have got good technology these days. And Dana Parker's with us. She's an intuitive life coach, and she's really hot. And the two of them do some really good work. But before we go there, I have been waiting 21 years to say this. And Nathan, what are you wearing?
The Mariners are going to the playoffs.
They're actually going to be in the playoffs starting in about an hour. So what I want you to do is, on your way home, listen to this show, and then the game will start about 1:15 or so, and they've got a lot of pre-game stuff they got to do and stuff like that. So you can catch the whole game, and you can listen to the show in its entirety. I think that's pretty cool.
And if the game was going live, we could probably give you a play-by-play, but, you know, we're just going to have fun here and give spiritual guidance.
That's right, because Nathan was 8 years old the last time that the Mariners were in the playoffs, and that was in 2002, I think. 2001, just after 9/11, about a month after 9/11. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. That wasn't a very good year. So anyway,
it makes sense that, the Yankees, that city really needed to do something to help, lift their spirits. So, you got to hand it to them and give them that respect.
It's the New York Yankees. Are you kidding me?
But it's the city of New York. But we won't talk about that. That's too depressing.
Yes, it is. That was a while ago and stuff. But today we got a great show for you. We've got two of the most fabulous people that I know, and they are really good at what they do. And we're going to invite you from the very first moment of the show that you can give us a call, and you can, if you've got a question about somebody that's crossed over, if you've got a question about your life, your lifestyle, what's going on with you, how you want to change what you're doing today into something that you would like to do in the future, we can do that. And you can give us a call right now, and Nathan's going to give you the numbers.
Our number to call into the show and have spiritual guidance from Dana Parker and Jen Gilbreth is 425-373-5527. Also toll free at 1-888-298-5569. And
if you call right now, Nathan wins $20. So call right now.
Fund my trip to Toronto.
Exactly. So Dana, how are you?
So good. I'm so good.
You have been just flying all over the place, doing some wonderful things, and introduce our friend Jen to our audience, would you please?
Oh, this is my favorite time. These Fridays, once a month, I get to be on this incredible station with Jen Gilbreth, and she has been a friend of mine for several years. It feels like we've just been friends for a long time, but I don't even know how many years. But Jen is so gifted in the realm of spiritual gifts, intuitive knowing. She's very connected to the other side, to ancestors. She's a medium that is just, I personally have done several sessions with her and just love her big heart, her willingness to teach other people how to tune into their gifts. And she's an incredible human being that I just love and adore. So I'm so excited that we get to do this and have this time together, Jen. Thanks for being on.
Well, thank you. I feel the same way. I'm so honored. So I'm very excited today. I apologize. My audio isn't the best, but sometimes life just happens the way it happens. So we just roll with the punches.
Yes.
It's a message, not necessarily the audio. So people can hear it. So that's good. But Dana, I got to tell you, the last time Jen was with me, you were not here. And Jen and I did some really cool stuff. Jen, tell us about the type of readings and type of work that we did together.
Well, it was actually really fun to see Kevin also deliver messages and tune in and pick up on stuff too. So we talked about past lives a lot. We brought in quite a few different people. So it was really fun to see Kevin also in action. It was really cool.
That's a byproduct of connecting with Jen, is your spiritual gifts open, and she's an incredible teacher that way, where not only are you getting edified and uplifted through what she's teaching and the connections, but people just naturally, when they're in her presence, their gifts open up more and more. And I think it's because she just loves teaching. That's part of why she's here. So,
well, thank you.
I love that for you, Kevin. You do. You have a sixth sense that I love that you're embracing more and more, that intuitive side of you.
It is, well, it's really good. And if I have somebody to be there with me to hold my hand and we can talk about it and I can fill in just a little bit about what I know, then it works out really, really well. So
it is so helpful.
If you want to give us a call, now the time for Nathan to win $20 has passed. So now if you want to give me $20, no, I'm kidding. Give us a call at 425-373-5527. or 888-298-5569. So, Jen, what have you been up to since the last time you were on the show?
A lot of fun things, actually. I've been working on this Soul Tribe, all about helping women embrace the medicine within. Because I feel like, kind of like what you're saying, Dana, is we all have spiritual gifts. We all have these purposes or these passions in life. And it's so easy for us to get worried about what other people will think, or if you can do it, or if you can't, or maybe you just feel limitations in a lot of different ways, or you want to just embrace yourself even more. And so I've been really working on cultivating the Modern Sages Soul Tribe, helping others really learn to embrace and cultivate the medicine within and find what makes them excited and what makes them feel alive, what's healing and uplifting. So it's been really beautiful.
When did you come up with this idea?
Well, I've been thinking about it for a while. But then when Candace, she was also on the Modern Sages, she went back to school. And so I feel like it was kind of then about 2 months ago that I just felt this draw and this push to kind of change the direction of Modern Sages a little bit, because we were really practicing and like talking a lot about shamanic practices. And so, of course, we're still adding that into the space, but it's kind of shifted a little bit. So it's been really cool.
And where can people find that and join that tribe?
Yeah, so I have the tribe on themodernsages.com, but it's also on Facebook. It's called The Modern Sages Tribe, Embracing the Medicine Within. So
okay, The Modern Sages Tribe. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And it's really important right now in this time in history that we work together and form communities.
Yeah.
And to form like-minded communities of people that you can relate to, who you can help, and who can be helped by you. Mm-hmm. It really is important. And I know, Dana, you're working on a similar path, are you not?
Yeah, I have definitely my own spin and my own thing that I'm working on and joining forces with to help really uplift women in the workplace and their mindset and skill set, their understanding of themselves. It's a really new time for women, because we have all of we have all the freedoms to have everything we want. And that hasn't always been the case in history. And what I think Jen and I, where we kind of align, is just because you have all the external freedoms doesn't mean you have all the internal freedoms that match that. And so really our passions align in inviting women into that internal freedom to then achieve and be and do and have the things that their heart's calling for in their life. And, we had slightly different focuses. Jen really is incredible when it comes to spiritual gifts and the spiritual aspect of things really opening up. And I'm very much focused in that realm of goal setting and achievement and stepping up into leadership, helping women step into their type of leadership, because the way women lead is different than the way men lead. But Jen and I both really believe in that internal healing. That's the beautiful part. We wholeheartedly, both of us, that is the medicine within, is it's a real thing. And leading women to that place, there's nothing. I've worked with thousands and thousands of clients now all over the world. There's nothing on this planet like your own self-love, self-compassion, self-introspection to your wounds, to your experiences. There's no amount of anything external validation, external shopping, food, all the things we look for to fill these wounds and these holes inside of us. But there's nothing outside of us, not a thing that can fulfill those places better than us going within, doing that healing work on those wounds and those cultural, generational, personal wounds from our life that hold us back, those stories that we think we are, those fears of what we think about ourselves that are playing out in everyone's minds. When you bring your own presence and you bring your own love to those places, it is incredibly transformational. And to watch other people do that right before your eyes, I believe that Jen experiences this too. It is one of the most sacred spaces and incredibly joyful spaces that you can participate with another human being in. So,
Jen, do you agree with that?
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And I think along with that too, we're all here just navigating life. And I feel though that a lot of people are being called into this space of really living authentic and living true to them and like daring to step out and be bold. And so we do need tribes. We do need people to also offer us support, be our cheerleaders. And also we can learn so much from what has worked for other people. Because we can get stuck in our own ways. And so when we see someone else, it's perfect to have that connection in a different aspect. So I think it's beautiful that way.
First of all, Jen, is there like a window open that you can close, or you're not?
Yeah, I just closed that. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. Today's just kind of a crazy day.
Okay, that's all right. You've got a great message, and we want to make sure everybody can hear it. I got to tell you, have you ever had the thought of picking up a book and opening it up to a particular page and just reading the page and just seeing what message comes through? Have you ever done that?
Yes, many times.
I did that last night, and you know what the author's name, you may have heard of him, is Neil Donald Walsh. And the book is Conversations with God. Yeah. And I just opened up the page, and the first line that I read was Neil Donald Walsh was saying, God, that's a radical concept. And God was saying back to him, well, you need to be self-centered. And in our society, it is not acceptable, and a lot of people will say it's not acceptable to be self-centered, but because everything starts with yourself and the center of yourself, you have to be in order to be good for other people. Do you guys agree with that, Jen? Hello.
Yes, absolutely. I think that's where it comes though. You have to fill your own bucket before you can fill it for others. We all know that concept, and I think that it's time to give ourselves permission to really embrace that for ourselves and to say, it's not selfish if I do take time for myself. In fact, it's exactly what's needed for who I am and how I can help other people as well. So I think that's a perfect concept.
Yeah. And I think that it's a matter of observing yourself, because I think that there are people out there that do think about themselves a lot. That's actually a very natural thing, that it just happens. And so if that's something that people are experiencing, I often will say, taking time to think about the group as a whole and the people as a whole and other people, and consider that. And then there are people who only and really focus in on everyone else, right? It's actually trained in us as women very commonly to think about and care for everyone else, and to think about the we, and to think about the community and all the other people. And So I think depending on where you're at, it's really important to self-introspect, to look within, be aware of where you're at, and then bring yourself into a different, more balanced place if you become out of balance. And I really do believe taking that time. I mean, I've spent the last almost 13 years now investing in myself and taking that time to fill myself and fill my bucket and be a mom and do a business. And it really is, it's a constant check-in. It never really, and we speak about balance, but everyone's balance is going to look different at different times in their life too. And it's something that I find myself always having to circle back. And I think that's normal. Circle back. Am I in balance? Am I taking good care of myself? Am I doing my inner work? You know, am I doing those things, and am I creating, and am I showing up as a mom, and really seeing and looking at giving to your life in those ways, in those areas that need it. And yeah.
But it's like a push-pull kind of thing. But why is it that so many women feel that taking care of themselves first is both selfish and they feel guilty about it? Why is that?
I think because culturally we're trained that our worth as women is really derived from our abilities to care and nurture and make everyone else happy around us, you know? And at least I'm speaking for myself. The culture that I grew up in is very much like, make sure you're taking care of your husband. Like, go get your husband a plate of food. If there's food out, go get him a plate of food and all the kids. And it's like, that's the trainings a lot for me that I grew up in, of your job as nurturer is to care for everyone and to make sure everyone's happy and to make sure everyone's good. And actually I was reading a lot about this, how girls are often trained in being sweet. Like if they get too emotional, they're trained in this idea that they need to be sweet, that they need to be, and maybe sweet's not the overall, that doesn't relate to everyone, but to be sweet, to show up kind, to show up generous, to show up feminine, right? And I think it's culturally trained, and so that's why we have to kind of unravel some of those things and really create new patterns for ourselves, new expectations of, you know what? No, I choose to take care of myself, and it's not either or. It's not an or thing. It's an and thing. And my children absolutely 100% are better for it because I've invested in myself. They have a better mom. My 6-year-old said it best, "Mom, I love your love. It is the best love."
Oh, and your heart melted all over the floor.
Melted everywhere. Yes. And I have that ability to show up that way because of that. What are your thoughts, Jen?
I love that. I think that's the sweetest thing. Yours is the best love. That's beautiful. Yeah, I think it's just that space of wanting to give too, like give. And it's easy to fall into that pattern of nurturing and wanting to take care of and wanting to make other people happy. It's just this natural essence. That doesn't have to be for everybody, but it can be more like that in a lot of ways. Or it's also, you're just taught that it has to be that way too. And so I don't know, there's just this shift going on that I feel like so many people are experiencing, where it's like, is that right for me? Does that feel good? Am I connected? And it's just time to embrace that and to not make that a bad or a wrong thing, but to just make that part of this human experience, because we're always learning lessons, whether it be in the cosmos, whether it be collectively, whether it be individually. But I find that a lot of people are in the same space at the same time, because it's like cultivating the space of wholeness for everybody. And so it's kind of fun to see how that there's a pattern in that for a lot of people.
You know, I gotta say that this is not in a vacuum, because there are other people around you, you with their expectations of who you should be rather than who you are. And how do you get past the expectations of, as an example, yeah, I'm sitting here, I'm having a beer, I'm talking with my friends. You should bring me a plate of food. What's the matter with you? You should be the one to take care of me and stuff. How do you, because there's a little bit of guilt that goes with that when they don't feel like they're measuring up or meeting the expectations of the significant other. How do you change yourself and change the significant other at the same time? There's a trick.
I think a lot of that starts with love and compassion. I feel like, and communication. Of course, we know communication is key, but we've all had that where we've built up anger or we want to say something, we just haven't done it. And then instead of like talking about it or moving forward, we like build it up and it gets angrier and angrier and finally you explode. And so I think honestly, the first thing is like, if something is bugging you, if you're like trying to shift into this perspective, it's almost like giving yourself space to feel that and to not make it wrong, but to also not lash out right away, because that might not be the healthiest or most effective way of communication. It might actually have the opposite effect. And so it's really like, you know, we hear like go into the closet or go into the bathroom and just take 5 deep breaths, connect into yourself, and then move forward. I think that's very applicable for everything, but especially when you're shifting into this new perspective. And I think that goes with like people honoring who they are or stepping into their spiritual gifts, is because not everyone's going to understand it. And of course, when you give yourself permission to listen to your own voice, then you can more strongly or more effectively share what you want to experience or who you are in a way that other people can understand. But you kind of got to understand it for yourself first. That's the most effective way of doing things.
Yes. That self-introspection. Oh, Jen, so well said. It is vital that women actually take that time to stop the doing all the time and the default, and really pay attention. How do you feel about the actions that you're taking and what you're doing in your life and where you're putting your energy? Really take that time for self-introspection. That's the very first step. And knowing that your emotions and feelings about your life, about your experiences are valid. And some of them might not be totally 100% true. Both exist. And we have to be able to start looking at and gain the understanding and the tools to challenge some of our stories. Meaning the story that says, if I don't do for everyone like I always have, then I'm not good enough as a mom. I'm not showing up right. That's a story. That's a story based off of old expectations you were told by someone else. And you're trying to live up to that, when really we deserve to start looking within and say, what is Dana's version of being a good mom look like? Because it's going to be different than Jen's, and it's going to be different than my mom's, and it's going to be different. What does my best version look like right now with everything I have in my life? And start really looking within. That's the very beginning. And you have to navigate that before you can even start communicating with other people where you're at and what you need and how you're shifting. And it's actually a very messy process. And I say that with a smile because it's messy for everyone. It's going to be messy. And that's why, you know, hiring somebody like Jen and or other coaches is so important and really helpful. Because in the messiness, you can have a cheerleader that's really, really supporting it, or joining Jen's tribe. Those kinds of things, being surrounded by people who are doing this work is so valuable, because then you have that outside perspective and that support of other people doing that, and the messiness and learning how to love yourself through the mess and the craziness of adjusting those things. It's going to be messy, you guys, and it's okay.
Oh, that's easy for you to say.
You're right. Actually, it's really easier said than done.
Oh,
I continually have to bring myself back to loving myself through the mess. You too, right, Jen? I think It's normal. Yeah.
So when we come back from this break, which I need to take, it's just a short one, so everybody can hang with us. But I want to ask you, because, you know, a lot of times we develop relationships and friendships from years ago. And as we continue to change and evolve and grow and trying to become who we really are, which is our goal for all of us in life, to become our best version of ourselves that has been yet created, that you change. And when you change, what happens to the other folks that are around you that are still looking for you the way you were 10 years ago? And that's part of the mess you're talking about, isn't it, Dana?
Oh, yeah.
So we'll be right back in just 2 short minutes. So please stay with us.
When you want to say more than words communicate, you can with flowers. Your custom boutique floral studio in Bothell, Washington is anaturaldesign.com, connecting you to nature through the language of flowers. Where your people are is where our flowers are beautiful. Your success is our goal. Now through New Year's Eve, here's your exclusive bonus for being our appreciated listener. Type in promo code Positive Talk Radio at checkout to receive $20 off your order. Our gift to you for being here with us today. anaturaldesign.com.
I'm excited that you're listening to the show right now. And if you like what we're doing here, you're going to love what we do on positivetalkradio.net. On positivetalkradio.net, each show is created live, packed with positive information, with real people discussing real issues, and positive solutions that can work for everyone. I hope that you'll join us on positivetalkradio.net and listen to all 295 plus shows. I think it's worth your time. But then, that's just me. That's positivetalkradio.net, your home for great progressive positive podcasts. And welcome everybody back to Positive Talk Radio on KKNW 1150 AM. And I want to thank everybody for being here, and it's great fun. By the way, I got to ask you guys, what do you think of my new theme song?
And it just muted everybody.
I love it.
It left them speechless.
Yes, speechless.
Yeah,
I love it, Kevin.
It's such good vibes. It makes you feel good.
Yeah.
It's everything that you're all about, Kevin.
I agree. It's very fitting.
Well, thank you very much. And my friend Tommy Tika, who is a singer-songwriter, he's going to be on the show on Monday morning at 9. And he is a master musician, and he put that all together for me. And so that's not out anywhere in the world except for me.
Oh, that is so cool.
That's special.
He is very gifted.
It really is a cool thing. But getting back, by the way, I would be remiss if I did not invite you to come and give us a call so you can talk to Jen. She is a psychic medium, and she works with people, and she can talk to the other side. She can talk to your guide. She can do all kinds of different things. And so I would be remiss if I didn't give you the opportunity to talk to her, because trust me, it's really well worth it. And with Dana chiming in and me throwing my 2 cents worth in, we can call it the psychic car wash, and you can get a real nice cleaning done here if you give us a call right now. And Nathan's going to give you the numbers.
Our numbers to call in are 425-373-5527 or toll free at 888-298-5569. We're at the home stretch of our show, only 30 minutes left to go, so give us a call now before it's too late.
There's a salesman for you. Good job. Good job. So I wanted to ask you, because Dana, you've been through this. I don't know that Jen, I don't know your background to know enough whether you've been through it or not, but when there was a point in time when Dana needed to make a change in her life, and it brought forth, if you go back to the whole thing, it really, you were like stepping in a mud puddle all over and creating a great big mess. But you felt that it was necessary to do that. Jen, how about you? Have you, when you got into this and it moved and stuff, did it affect your friends, your family, the people that you'd grown up with that are used to Jen presenting herself in a certain way, and suddenly you're not presenting yourself that way anymore?
Yeah, I think that's been an unraveling throughout time is, as I get older and as I develop my gifts more and my own beliefs in life, I feel like it transition and changes, which I think we're all here to do is to evolve in one way or another. But it wasn't easy, that's for sure. Especially when I got started wanting to be a medium. I grew up in a very religious household, and luckily my family was pretty supportive. But at the same time, like I had some people that I cared very much so about, and they weren't accepting of that and they didn't want to support that. I remember a conversation in the car where people that I cared dearly for were like, if you do this, we can't have you in our life anymore. We're not accepting that. And that was devastating. It was people that I loved and I viewed as family in many ways. And so it seems like at those times, though, that sometimes we do change and transition and friendships come and go and relationships. And it's kind of one of those bittersweet things because there's always lessons in those. And I look back and those were some of my core wounding when it comes to like stepping into my own gifts. But it's also what I needed to give myself permission to heal enough to be able to stand where I'm at now. And so going back, if I could go back to that girl who was brokenhearted in the car, like driving away, just sobbing, like, I feel like I want to do this. Why would I be given a gift and then have so many people that I love not accept it? It was such a gift. And I wish I could go back there and be like, hey, look, Jenny, it's going to be worth it. I promise you. It's going to be hard, but these are going to be the moments that you're going to help other people embrace as well. So it's not easy, but it's definitely worth it.
In my experience, when I started Positive Talk Radio back in 2003, and I was married and been married for 20 some years, and that fell away. At the same time, all the friends that I cultivated within that framework of that, they all went away, every one of them. And it was like, gee whiz, this is kind of tough. But you know what? If you stand fast and believe in what you are doing is the correct thing to do, the right people show up in your life, and much better people. And I know, Dana, that's happened in your case. Yes,
that's true. Yeah, very true. And I think it's really normal when you're going through big changes, big internal changes, that you're different. What you're putting out is different. Your ideas are different. And so the people that you used to, resonate with, it becomes a different resonance. And so part of the journey of, a really big part of the journey is learning how to be okay within yourself, even if others aren't okay with what's going on in your life. And I do have to say here, Kevin, that you never actually know the impact of you honoring yourself, because a life of self-betrayal, of showing up how everyone else wants you to show up, will internally harm you. It's what is at the root of a lot of anxiety and depression and really deep emotional things that a lot of people are dealing with right now. And it's because they don't feel the space to honor themselves. And as we step into that, even when those closest to you struggle with the changes, there's positive things that come from it. And I just want to mention this, that as I've had these big changes in my religious world, I left a religion that I grew up in and had some really big changes. It was very, very difficult for my family, and very difficult for my parents and my mom in particular. And as we've navigated it, it's been messy. It's been a messy navigation, but I was fully committed to honor myself and to forgiveness through the mess. And I just stuck with it with her. And we have had lots of talks and lots of experiences and lots of hard conversations. But that willingness to say, you know what, my mom's never experienced this before. This is new for her, to have a daughter that is no longer part of this core religion that she loves, and to have that compassion, that perspective, but also honor myself. In my experience, what's been so incredible in the last few months as I've talked with her, she said to me, Dana, I'm so grateful I'm so grateful that you did this for you, because it's opened my heart and it's made me more loving to other people and other experiences and people that don't think the same as I do and don't feel the same as I do. And it's really challenged me to be a more open, loving person. And I don't know that I would have fully achieved that without that. And so that's an incredible experience. And you know, not everyone will get that. And it's okay. I feel really lucky that that's been the conversation and where we've landed recently. And it's been through a lot of the mess. It has been. And you never know. You just never know, as you stand in your power and honor yourself, who you're inspiring, who in your life actually is feeling those similar same things. And it's beautiful what can happen and what's created.
Absolutely. Jen, your thoughts?
I love it. I think it's so beautiful. And I love hearing that too, Dana, because there have been times where we have done ceremonies and gatherings and we both have healed a lot of those aspects of who we are. And so just hearing that circle of completion is so powerful, but it just shows that we do need people in our life who are willing to support us. And maybe that's us reaching out to groups of people who maybe we're really intrigued by and we want to participate. And it's like, this is the invitation and the time to really honor and jump in and try new things, look at new people's ways of life and what they're doing. And like, why not? And the other thing I have to say with that too, is this is what I get over and over and over again, delivering messages from our ancestors, is at the end of our life, we are the only ones responsible for how we live life. We are going to be the only ones walking over. I always call it like the rainbow bridge. It's kind of like looking at your life sketch and your choices and others' choices and everything like that. But in the end, your mom or your dad or your great grandma, your best friend, they're not going to be responsible for your impact or what you've learned in this life or your soul's growth. It's going to be you. So it's time for us to remember that it's really about us and what we came here to experience. And so, I don't know, it's just time to cultivate that within the world for sure.
It's that self-centeredness that you have to begin to understand and to work within yourself before you can take care of anybody else.
Yeah. I call it self-interested.
Yes.
Yeah, being self-interested.
And a lot of people will say, "Oh, you can't do that." But you know, I've talked to a lot of people that when they get to the end of their life, and by the way, I'm not as young as I used to be, and so I've had to start thinking about in terms of that. And it's like, I cannot imagine how different my life would have been had I just shut it down in 2003 and not did the radio show and not gone down this path and just sat there. I would be friggin' miserable today.
Yeah.
But I get the opportunity to meet extraordinary people like you guys. I would not have met either of you if I had not gone down this path. And it's remarkable, the people I get to meet. And you two are two of them. And I want to thank you for that.
Thank you so much, Kevin. I'm so glad you listened, and I'm so glad you pursued it. And I'm so glad you just never gave up on it. And to anyone listening, if there's a part of you that gave up your heart's calling, things that your heart was calling for, this is an invitation to reopen. It's never too late. Reopen to some of those things. More than ever, you can find communities on anything that sparks your passion, anything that sparks your joy. You can find support groups. You can find people who are in that arena, who have that passion, who will be supportive of that, and you evolving into that. And it will reignite your love for life. It will reignite your love for life. You will be shocked what it will do for you as you honor yourself and stop betraying your own heart. Stop betraying yourself. That's one of my huge messages right now. Stop betraying your heart's messages and start listening no matter what. And it will ignite, no matter what happens in your life, who doesn't agree with it, it will ignite in your life this joy and excitement and this magic for life, unlike anything else, unlike any path you'll take that someone else gave you. You honoring your path, your soul's path, will ignite in you that love for life again. And it's time we all live that.
Absolutely. And I think too, it's good to remember that there will be times that maybe you will have to shed some layers of friendships or relationships. And that doesn't have to mean getting rid of somebody. You deciding that relationship is going to look and be experienced differently. But that's part of the lesson of growth. That's part of why we're here. And everything around us, this is one thing too that's been sticking out for me a lot lately, is everything in this life is temporary. Mm-hmm. Our physical body, everything we're doing, the things that we have, the car that we drive, the clothes that we spend so much money on, right? In our soul's evolution of growth, in the big picture, we came here to learn lessons, to have connection, and to co-create with spirit. And I strongly believe that. And so nothing in this life really is permanent. And when we can give ourselves permission to see that and to embrace that fact of not holding on to make everything mean something, it gives us a better sense of like courage to actually step in and do the thing that we've always wanted to do, because why not? That's my message today, is like, why not?
Why not? I love that.
Yeah.
I think that's a wonderful thing to say. Why not? Because it's, you know, it's important. It really is, because so many, all right, I'll be 100% transparent. So many people turn 65, 66, 67, and they quit or they retire from their job. They retire from what they're doing. They don't have anything else to go to. And so they consider that to be kind of like nearing the end of their life. I am going to continue to do this and work with people like you. And I've also got 750 shows up, or 750 hours of programming up that will be here long after I'm gone. And so it's important that if you have a desire, and it doesn't have to be going on the radio, you have to be a little nuts to do what I do, but and Nathan's looking and, what do you mean nuts? I don't know what you're talking about. But you know, it's whatever it is. If you want to paint, if you want to volunteer, if you want to go to a dog petting service because you love dogs, do it. Don't sit in your house and watch television all day, because it's a waste of your God-given talents, and it's a waste of your time. And when you are on your deathbed many years from now and you say, gosh, did I do everything? Did I leave it all on the table? Did I do everything that I could to live my life to its fullest? And if you can't say yes to that, you haven't done enough. Do you guys agree with that? Even though you guys are going to be young a lot longer than me, because you're young and vivacious and all that stuff.
I love it. Yes, absolutely. Everything you said is so perfect. And I'm just laughing and smiling. My cheeks hurt from smiling, because I just think that spirit is so funny. You know, we came on today without having any agenda, and all of us have been led into the same conversation, the same aspect of what whoever's listening, and even for ourselves, it's like reminding ourselves all these things, but it's all in this one direction that we keep all taking it. And it wasn't even the intention of what we were going to do today. You know, we came with an open heart, and I think that's just how spirit works. And that's what we're here to do, is to just trust, and it's going to look different. And you might start one thing and be like, I don't like that, but it could spark an interest to go somewhere else. And then all of a sudden you're at this place that you're so excited and you're so happy. You're like, how did I even get here? Oh, it's because I took that one action and I loved it. And so now that's where I'm at. It's just a little bit.
You know, there are, just to follow up on your point, Jen, there are people that'll say, you know, you really should prepare, and you really should have questions that you're going to ask people, and really delve deeply into that. And my answer to that is no. I want it to be free flowing, and I want it to go where it's supposed to go. I didn't know where it was going to go when we started the show today, but it's gone into a very, very important direction. And the reason it did that, I believe firmly, is because there's somebody in our audience, and it's maybe you that's listening right now, that needed to hear this message. And so, Dana, continue that message.
I absolutely agree. Continue that message. No pressure.
None whatsoever.
No, I completely agree with what you're saying, Kevin, and I love this. We just keep circling back to this, and that's actually the most beautiful part about the work that we do, is when you show up with an open heart and allow yourself to connect in to the message. It just flows through and it happens naturally. And, you know, when you have all these preconceived notions and all these plans and everything of like, here's how it's going to go, here's what it's going to be, sometimes that can trump what the heart is calling for. And I think that actually applies in life too, that if we get too rigid, or if we get too caught up in culture says it has to be this way, or this is how it's always been done and this is what I'm going to do. If we get too caught up in that, and in doing what everyone else tells us we should do, we will end up at the end of our lives, I think, unfulfilled. You know, how many times do we hear of those people in the near end of their life, and they're like, I wish I wouldn't have worked as much. I wish I would have enjoyed this more and done this more. And you know, I think it's really important to take the wisdom from those conversations of those that are nearing the end of this particular life, and really look at, wow, how can I live along the way? How can I really enjoy and change my relationship with life in a different way, and do what maybe hasn't been done before because my heart says so, because there's something inside of me that's calling for that. And, you know, everything great in this world was created from those kinds of ideas that were never created before, that were never done before. And we're grateful for it, and we're better for it. And Kevin, just like you said, you following your heart and putting out the, you know, 750 hours of positive talk, positive conversations, it will precede you in this life. You will leave an imprint, a positive imprint on this world because of your willingness to hear. And that goes for every person. I mean, even down to somebody who, let's say you love dogs, and that's where you'll leave a positive impact in that world. That matters. That matters. That positivity, doing what your heart calls you to, it matters, and it makes a difference to your world. But when you're in a good place and you're acting in that, there's a ripple effect that you cannot stop. It just will take place and it will happen. And that's the beauty of all of us being so intricately connected, that when we start living from that space of doing what our heart calls, it inspires other people and it changes other people for the better.
And you know, Jen, I know that you came on today and you're a gifted psychic medium, and we were hoping to have a few people call in, but this is what I'm going to tell you, is that because of the conversation that we're having today, there are people that are sitting in the driveway of their home that are continuing to listen to the show because they don't have AM radio in the house and they want to continue to listen to it. So even though we're not helping people as we normally would, if they call in and you help them with their ancestors and where they've been and their loved ones on the other side, you're still helping people today. And I want to thank you for that.
Well, thank you, Kevin. I feel so honored, and I'm always so grateful. And I think that's also, and I was thinking about that too, as I'm like, I feel like we've all channeled in exactly what needed to come through today. And I feel so aligned with it. And I know that we're all like sparking inside, like just knowing that sometimes you don't need to have a personal message like that. We're all delivering this, and it's exactly how it's supposed to be. And I think in addition to that too, is I just keep thinking about, nothing has to be perfect. So if you want to move forward in a way and you keep getting paralyzed by imperfection, I mean, today I'm in the car, which is definitely not ideal. And I could have allowed that to be like, oh, I can't show up today, or I'm not in the flow, or like putting myself in this awkward position mentally. And it's like, no, you know, it's just time to trust, and nothing has to be perfect. That's just part of how life is. And you know, you just keep trying. Next month, it'll be different. I'll be in a completely different space. And so it's just that same aspect of like, nothing is going to be perfect. So we just have to take the steps. We have to show up in life, and miracles will happen, and you'll affect and you'll inspire whoever it is that you're supposed to, and vice versa. It's just stepping into that space and trusting your heart and moving forward, and miracles will always come. So I love everything you do, Kevin, and what you said. So thank you so much for that.
But having said that, if somebody would like to, like get out of their car while they're in their driveway and then go in the house after this, and they want to give you a call or they want to contact you so that you can work with them one-on-one, how do they go about doing that?
Yes. So that will be on www.modernsages.com. And I have all the information to work with me personally, join the tribe, to listen to the Modern Sages podcast, all of the good things of just bridging that. So I would love for you to be a part of the Modern Sages Soul Tribe on Facebook as well.
And Dana, who also is an extraordinary intuitive. And by the way, yes. Every show that I've done with you, Dana, at one point or another, you've gotten emotional. That's because of the type of person that you are and how you wear your heart on your sleeve. And you really have a deep, deep, deep desire to help people. So if somebody wants to contact you to work with you, how do they get that done?
Yes. First, I just want to say, if you reach out to Jen, just prepare yourself that your life will be very different. Life will shift and your relationship with life will change. Jen is so gifted in that way. So I've done sessions with her. I've connected with her before. I've spoken with her. We've taught groups together. We've done healing together. She's an incredible, incredible teacher, and I highly recommend time with her. So, second, thank you, Kevin. I agree. My whole heart, I can't help it, and I don't want to help it. I just speak with my whole heart. I feel with my whole heart. I think that's part of why I'm here on this planet. It's to show that all emotions are acceptable. All emotions are okay to feel. And it's part of a huge part of my message. And why I feel like I'm here is to help others embrace that human experience of emotions. And so if you want to get a hold of me, you can reach out to me at innerworldmovement.com and set up a discovery session or a time to meet with me. And I'm definitely open and wanting to. I have a few spots for clients that just opened up, actually. So I'm open. And if you feel, reach out and let's see if we're a fit.
That's really cool. And I've worked with both of you to some degree, and I haven't been undressed by Jen yet, but one of these days I'll have to hire her, and then she'll have to do that. But you guys have got such remarkable spirits and such wonderful energy about you that I'm just really appreciative that you'll come here and talk to our audience today and every time that you're here, because it really is important. People need to see that there are people like you out there that are actually available to them, because they don't. Some people, and if you're listening to this right now and you feel less than hopeful, if you don't feel like you've got a way out, I got two ways out, and they're sitting right over there. Jenna's one, Dana's the other. So please, if you're feeling less than, don't make that your life's calling or your excuse for it. Change it, fix it. You can do it. And anyway, we've got 2 minutes
at the very least, join Jen's Facebook group.
Exactly. We've got 2 minutes left, and Dana, you've got a minute to tell us what you need, what our audience needs to hear.
Yeah, the message that is just loud and clear: honor your heart's calling. Honor it. It's time. It's time to stand in that. It's time to listen to yourself. It's time to be connected to you. Stop self-betraying. By denying those heart's callings, by denying how you really feel about your life and what's going on, and step into change, step into something different. Hire a coach, hire somebody that can give you perspective, help you heal from some of those inner wounds, give you the tools to do that so that you can move forward in your life powerfully and really live life to the fullest.
Jen?
Your emotions are the secret magic sauce to life. And I think that's why I love working with Dana so much too. And even Kevin, it's just fun because it's all about embracing life. And when we feel numb, well, we might not really be feeling our emotions. And so I think that's the main thing is in all of these things, following your heart, honoring that, but also don't be afraid to feel emotion because that is the magic sauce of life. It's beautiful. So don't shy away from it because it's holy, it's sacred, it's beautiful, and it's why we are here.
I want to thank Jen Gilbreth and Dana Parker for being here. Thank you very much. We'll see you Monday morning at 9 with Tommy Tika. And go Mariners. Have a wonderful day, everybody. And be kind to one another because each other is all we got.